Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. An update on Charlie Kirk. And the update will bring the person of interest. We have a photograph for that. You obviously probably saw his face already. They found the suspect's rifle. The cartridges on the cartridges of the rifle, there were some trans inscriptions. You can't make shit up. And it's not because someone else said it. It's from the Department of Justice. I will show you the receipt. And that is the same thing as that guy in Minneapolis, remember? The shooter of those, he was a transgender, a shooter of those children. The magazine had some trans things. I think his writings, supporter of the. Anyway, I'm not implying that, but then we have, I'm going to show you and discuss the rifle that was found, the context. I will show you a picture or a few of them. Then ammunition found with Charlie Kirk murder weapon bears quote-unquote transgender, anti-fascist messages. Media, but not media. It comes from the Department of Justice, and I will show you that. Then we have Elon Musk calling the left the party of murder. Now, I don't know, I wouldn't go that far, but nevertheless, this is what he said. Then we're going to have we're going to have Trump, who vows to hunt down each and every radical people promoting the radical violence. Then $100,000 bounty for the person who assassinated Kirk. Then we have a few of Kirk's opinions, stands on Ukraine, Crimea, Zelensky, and not allegedly, during a video, I'm not going to play the video, he even questioned if Ukraine would try to kill him. Then, obviously, this comes from the Russians. But hey, they have the video. I watched the video. And then a video coming from BuzzFeed, another opinion of Charlie Kirk, that these guys are trying to portray him as this and as that. I'm just going to provide you with some more, insight into certain aspects that these guys right now are promoting. So he in this video that I will upload the links in the description below, this resurfaced video of Charlie Kirk explaining why he thinks gun deaths are, and as they put it, worth it, is going viral. And then briefing on Kirk's assassination postponed due to rapid developments in investigation. This is according to the FBI, isn't that the US authorities? Now, I have a question for you. And the question goes like this. What if tomorrow, this is a scenario, it's nothing proven, nothing true, but let's say tomorrow these guys discover with evidence that the person who shot Charlie Kirk is an agent, a foreign agent. And let's say the agent is from an allied country. And that allied country is located in the Middle East. I'm just making a scenario. I'm not saying that's the way it is. What do you think will happen? Do you think we will find out about it? Do you think that person will be extradited? Do you think the person will be, covered? What do you think will happen? Remember September 11? Today is September 11. There were a lot of reports about some people celebrating and videotaping the events of the Trade Center, World Trade Center. Remember? There were about 200 foreign agents, special agents. They were kicked out of out of the United States of America after they were caught. Remember? Okay. Well, I'm just saying. What do you think will happen if, let's say, that was a Russian agent, or let's say a Ukrainian agent, or I don't know, maybe an Israeli agent, Mossad agent? What do you think will happen? I think it's going to be a different behavior from the U.S. Justice Department, depending on where the guy came from. All right, so let's start with the first topic and the first piece of information. The face of the person who they claim is the person of interest right there. Charlie Kirk shot that in Utah. FBI releases photos of person of interest after suspected shooter's rifle found in nearby woods. So he went hunting for deer, I guess, after that, but he dropped it. So this is the face of the weasel. I mean, we can identify he's skinny. He's got a patriotic t-shirt with a gun and his flag. I can see. I don't know if that's accurate or not. He wears glasses. I was about to say baseball hat. Some, I don't know. There's like a libellula, like a flying dragon sunglasses, as you can tell over there. And then he's got what? I don't see the rifle. It seems like he got a backpack. And here, nothing. That's supposedly a guy with a fist clenched. You see the fist clenched? That tells you something. In body language, what does that mean, my friends? Stressed as fucked. He's walking on eggs. And this is what they say. The FBI on Thursday released pictures of person of interest in the death of Charlie Kirk, a prominent pop, who was fatally shot. At the press conference, the officials described the gunman as a college-age male who blended in well with students at the Utah Valley University event. Right? A high-powered bolt-action rifle was recovered from a nearby wooded area, authorities say. They believe this is the weapon that was used in the targeted shooting that left Kirk dead. Now, question for you, my friends. When I made the previous video, and the only so far, on Charlie Kirk's assassination, they posted a picture or a video of an apprehended old man, bald-headed, a little bit white hair over here, kneeled down with his hands behind his back saying, I remain silent, or I have the right to remain silent. Was this a diversion? Was a diversion made by the people in the crowd, certain people, or was a diversion made by a police officer who said, that's the guy, and everybody went over there, therefore the other guy can leave? Which one was it? Well, I don't know. But why would these guys jump on the dead guy when the other guy is on the roof? What did this guy do? I tell you, he's innocent, and he was pointed out probably by someone to draw attention from the real guy. Okay? Just saying. I don't know if that's true, but just think about it. Maybe I'm just wrong, but I think I should just express my views and ask questions. Nothing wrong with asking questions. All right, so that's what it was. Now, next one. FBI recovers rifle used in Charlie Kirk shooting, traces path through woods, and supposedly the guy met a construction worker. So he had a high-power rifle shooter, used to kill politician, and it was a Mauser 306 caliber, 306, whatever, caliber bolt-action rifle, 306. All right, and they say evident markers on a scam, marks the shooter scrambling through some trees towards a nearby construction site. And then, at the site, Dylan Hope, an electrician, told USA Today that his colleague, who was operating an excavator Wednesday, September 10th, when the shooting took place, believes he spoke with a gunman. Hope said his colleague spoke with a young man who appeared on the site and asked if he could walk through it. And then he says that the alleged shooter, before any of the sirens or people were walking out, talked to excavator guy. The excavator guy stopped him because we are not supposed to have people on here. All right, so move on. I've been parked right here, short after that, and we find out recovering the weapon is absolutely huge. He said it's a goldmine of information. Lane explained experts analyzing the gun could discover fingerprints, DNA, or perhaps a serial number that could trace back to the shooter. He also noted about the breakthroughs in the case, including a palm and the shoe print discovered near the scene of the shooting. That is very, very big. So, what else? All right, let's go and see the rifle. You see, it doesn't say here it says this comes with a magazine with 5 rounds, bolt action, trapa is you have to load each and every time you shoot. It's made for deer caliber, and it says you don't need military to be a military sniper or anything like this to be able to shoot it at about 150 yards, according to these guys. But this is how the rifle looks. They say it's an older model. Now, I don't know if this is a gun or not, but this obviously is not a gun. It's just one of those kinds. And this is an older model. I don't know if how old, they didn't say, but this is another one. Another Mauser. That looks very good. 30 deer rifle with a scope. They didn't mention if it was a scope or not. Probably it was. That's a beautiful rifle right there. What do you think? I think it is. All right, move on. The Russians. Whenever the Russians are coming, things are getting truthful. Ammunition found with Charlie Kirk murder weapon bears, quote unquote, transgender anti-fascist messages, media says. ABC has cited unnamed law enforcement officials as making the claim after the FBI announced its agents recovered a bolt-action rifle. But I have the picture, okay? Ammunition found with a rifle that was supposedly used in the assassination of prominent American conservative activist Charlie Kirk was inscribed with, quote-unquote, transgender and anti-fascist writing. ABC had claimed, citing unnamed law enforcement officials. Hey, wait a second, I got more than that, my friends. Don't worry, be happy. This is FBI post, right? $100,000 bounty for info about Charlie Kirk, But it's not all, because I'm going to show you. Where is that at? That comes from... where is that at? Just a second. Where it comes from the guy himself. And it comes from the same article from the Russians, Russia Today. And at the bottom, right there, you see that? The Charlie Kirk shooter allegedly engraved transgender and anti-fascist slogans on the bullet cartridges he used to kill the activist. American influencer Steven Crowder has reported citing an internal communication from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives. And that is the text. All right, and this is the picture. I'm going to go because you see, you don't see it on this one. You want to see it only on the Twitter account. Right here, you don't see because it's below this, exactly below that. Why? But it's okay, we go on it. Come on, click. Click, clock. And we have right here, where the red line is over there. So remember, this is from let me see if I'm right. teams.doj.gov, government, okay? And we're going to go down here, right there. Starting from there, please read for me. All together now, children. All cartridges have engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. Unemerging traits, So this is Denver, okay, PAC, DOJ. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is according to these guys. All right. So this is what they say. What do you think, my friends? Now, I'm not going to jump and say, hey, guys, because one person does that, we should, all the people in the group are like that. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I don't want you to say that if someone uses a knife to commit a crime, all knives are evil. The same with the guns. Guns could be used to protect yourself, your country, or against the tyranny, or commit some idiotic crimes. Okay? So, but it seems like we have to be logical when they have to be just immature, right? Infantile. You know who I'm talking about, right? Because I'm going to go to Elon Musk and he's going to call the party of... Now, let me tell you this. If you have an ideology, a party, a person who says, you know what, that group over there in its entirety is not good. You see how I use the not good instead of not good, all right? And you say, well, they live among us, they should not live among us. Well, you just give some ideas, it's your ideology, that group is not okay, should not, You don't tell anybody to do anything to that group. You don't tell them. So you don't incite violence, you don't do anything. You just say, I think that group is like that, I don't think that entity is not good, I think that entity should not be around us. That's your ideology. Nothing wrong so far. These are words. Not inciting of violence or anything like let's go and them up. But this ideology could have people who say, oh, let's go one step further. That's the person under the ideology who acts upon the ideology. Now, the ideology is a good one, where some people have the free speech to not like other people. Now, if you act upon that, that's a different story, right? Especially if you commit a crime. All right, remember those words and do not forget those words. Silence is violence. Remember that one? Remember when people said that words are violence? Remember when it was George Floyd? Remember? If you don't, and Black Lives Matter, not all, only Black Lives Matter. And if you dare to say, silence is violence, say it, say it, say it. Yes, Black Lives Matter. Why? All lives matter. Nevertheless, so remember, don't forget those things, because that's going to get me right now to the next article. And we feature Mr. Elon Musk. Musk calls left the party of murder after Charlie Kirk shooting. Republicans and conservatives allies have long argued that the left rhetoric fuels such attacks. This is what I was talking about with the group and all that. Well, if you don't act upon it. Tech billionaire Elon Musk has accused the radical left of fostering a climate that encourages violence against conservatives, calling it the party of murder following the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. All right, let's see what exactly he said. The left is the party of murder. And quote, Musk wrote in a post on X, echoing broader claims from Republican allies who argue that democratic rhetoric and media narratives have long fueled hostility towards conservative figures. Well, don't get framed. Don't allow this guy on the left, on the right, on the north, on the south, label you and frame you. Oh, the conservatives are framed like that, and the left. Make sure that you see who's saying that and who that person belongs to. It's just a diversion from the main point. It's not about left and right here. They are the same. We, the baboons down here, fight with one another. Oh, you're on the left. Oh, no, you're on the right. When actually, they're over there counting the money from our energy. Remember, we are just mice on a spinning wheel, providing them with energy to, I don't know, create problems in Ukraine, maybe in Syria, maybe in Iraq, maybe in Iran, maybe in Korea area, in Far East, maybe in Ukraine. And you and your family, some of you might be fighting, some of you might be patriotics, and we work for them. That's why they can do shit. But in the meantime, they keep us at each other's throats. Don't miss that point. Liberal, conservative, black, white, straight, homosexual, whatever. This is not something that really matter. But nevertheless. So, let's go and see what else we got there. We're going to go to Mr. Trump. And this is what Mr. Trump has to say. Trump vows to hunt down those funding radical left violence. Now, I have a few questions. It's so vague. I have to tell you, it's so vague. First, who is the person or the entity, I think you can guess who that is, who identifies who is from the radical left? What's radical left? So where is the border? I'm not trying to make mental gymnastics here, like, oh, we can't tell. We can't tell, but it must be a border, something that once you cross, you know that's a radical left. What does that mean? Is the socialist guy, communist guy in New York elections now in the Democratic Party, is he a radical left? Well, for me, a communist is a radical left. It's right there. Okay? A socialist depends, because remember, the communists are an extension of the socialists, pushed to an extreme. So, you can. I'm a social democrat. When I hear social democrat, for me is a communist, most likely. All right, but hey, that's me personally. So who makes that determination? That's the first one. And he says, after you make the determination, those funding radical left violence. So what do you mean? You're gonna, there are groups that you identify as radical left, and the people who fund them before they are engaged or after? Like, let's say Black Lives Matter movements, are they radical left? Are they violent? So I'm okay with hunting bad people, but I'm not okay with really, if you are here already how should I put it? Let's put this up here. A radical left already determined that you are engaged in violence as the group, you know, and then you say, what? You're going to hunt down. What do you mean you're going to hunt down? Are you going to shoot them? What are you going to do? Let's read what he says. Donald Trump has vowed to pursue not only the assassin of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, but also those he accused of funding and fueling radical left political violence across the US and United States. So those who are funding and fueling political violence. All right, martyrs for truth and freedom. You can't have that, that's mine. Praising him for inspiring Papa. Charlie was the best, attacking the whole country. An assassin tried to silence him. Yeah, that's as it is. For years, the radical left has compared one. Okay, what if Trump finds, I'm just going to give you a few hints. You connect the dots, I can't here. What if, let's say, Trump discovers that in this funding of the radical left, let's say is, I don't know, a guy called Schmilberg, and a guy called Schneider, a guy called, I don't know, Kosman, another guy called Lutnick, another guy, I don't know, names like, or Gold, Goldstein, or Goldberg, or Diamondstein, or Diamond, they like those kind of names, right? Or maybe, I don't know, what do you think he will do? I tell you what he's going to do. He's going to shut the fuck up. That's what he's going to do. So, if he finds the right people over there, he's going to be tough. Like he's tough in Ukraine. But in the Middle East, those guys can do no wrong. All right? So, that's dangerous because Trump has, and I'll tell you straight, has a, what's the right word? He is a guy who enforces selective justice, 100%. That is, if one of his minions, let's say Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, so double strike, commits a crime, let's say a rape, and let's say someone else that Trump doesn't know, let's say, all right, commits the same crime, I guarantee you the penalty will be very different. So I don't know, I'm not certain that Trump really uses that in for the good. I think he's gonna just do it in order to strike some that he personally doesn't like. But dangerous? A little bit, I think it is. Next one. Let's see what's going on. Some of what's his name? Charlie Kirk's opinions, views, that now they're bringing them up to smear him, or not smear because those were his statements. So it's not about smearing. Like right now, I made, I don't know, more than 12,000 videos here. I said many things in my life. Recorded, not recorded, texted, messaged, and live. So everything I said, I believed in. Maybe I can change some things, give a different flavor, or maybe change some things because I realized after a while with more information that I acquired that what I said 15 years ago doesn't stand, okay, because of the new information or becoming wiser. And then tomorrow wiser than yesterday, and the next day wiser than yesterday, and so on. That's a process. You're not right there know everything. Therefore, always leave an exit door, not ass, and be skeptical, but don't be 100% certain. Information can come and turn it around. So, for instance, for me, so what I'm going to say about Charlie Kirk is not to smear him, but I'm going to show you how the Russians are trying to use certain kind of interest. But as a default, I saw, actually it was sent to me by my cousin, thank you very much, a video with Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. And they were talking about Israel and Palestine and so on. And they were very much in agreement. They were like friends. For me, just so you know, when I see someone working for or with Ben Shapiro, regardless who that person is out. Unless you are an ignorant. Like, for instance, Candace Owens. I think she was an ignorant until she got kicked in the butt by those boys. And then she realized, wait a second, really? She needed a wake-up call, big smack from the boys, from Ben Shapiro, in order to now to reveal all kind of things about those guys. And I tell you another name that I'm very disappointed with, and that is Professor Dr. Jordan Peterson. No. He fell from here, for me, to... It doesn't mean that what he says I will not take it into consideration. But as a human being, he knows better. He knows better. All right, so let's see what these guys are saying. All right, let's go with the Sputnik article. Sputnik. Slain U.S. activist Charlie Kirk called Crimea part of Russia and criticized Zelensky. Hoppa, that's not good. But then you got this one right here. Charlie Kirk once questioned if Ukraine would try to kill him. That's on video. So it's not only that these guys are making up stuff. So let's see what he said here. All right. It says, transgender woman, territory. All right. So we have, if you remember this person, if you don't, it was a U.S. transgender woman, an ex-head of the Ukrainian Territorial Defense English language propaganda, vowed to hunt down those she called Kremlin propagandists. Okay? Hunt down. Adding that a strike against an individual favored by Russian President Vladimir Putin was imminent. And then down here, this is the video if you want to, and I'm going to upload all these sites that I used. And I'm quoting, are they going to murder or try to murder Steve Bannon or Tucker Carlson or myself? Question mark. Kirk asked. None of us are Putin puppets or Russian propagandists, but the New York Times calls us that. Is that the radical left? Well, you can't attack New York Times. Trump, you cannot. I super dare you. That's for you're going to shut the hell up. Twitter calls us that. Kirk said on his show. And that person who is funded by the U.S. Treasury says, we are going to come murder you. End quote. All right, well, next one. And here we have this resurfaced video of Charlie Kirk explains why he thinks gun deaths are worth it. Is going viral. So these are the imbeciles from BuzzFeed. And they try to make it like, no, you got it. What are you saying now? Oh, you can't say anything because you're bum bum bum. This is where these guys are going with that article. All right, well, he said it, but isn't that give me liberty or give me death kind of thing? It's exactly what I say. Even if someone shoots me or shoots someone, I will not say, oh, ban all the guns. No, the people, the ideology, whatever they do it in the name of that. And each person can use certain ideas in a certain way, in a personalized way. Like, for instance, you take Christianity. Christianity had their time way back there, remember? Not only in the Inquisition against the Jews and all that, against their own people. I have to remind you, Giordano Bruno was burned on the stake. They looked at Galileo Galilei, who said, oh, I don't think so, man. Euclidean theory is not working. What are you, a blasphemy against God? We're going to burn you, my man. So on, so on. So in the name of they got people burned on stake. There's witches, warlocks, and so on. Do you think there are witches that should be burned for blasphemy or something? Would you do that? I guarantee you that among us, it's a big majority of people who, if they would be allowed, they would do the same thing those guys did in 1700s, 1600s, 1500s, and so on. I guarantee you. For that, I just urge you to watch, what's his name? I can't remember his name. From California. California, get to the chopper! What the fuck? Not Schwarzenegger. What the hell is his name? Mark Dice. Yeah, Mark Dice. He made some videos interviewing people in the street in California during COVID, after COVID. I think it was before COVID. And he asked questions like, what do you think should be done with these guys who refuse to be vaccinated? Should be just put in a camp and re-educated? And you're going to be surprised how many people said, yes, of course, sure. Yeah, they should be. They even added to the idiotic proposition. We have a lot of criminals here that would do many things just because. All right, so that is with Charlie Kirk. And what did he say? I'm going to show you on the article what he said about it. I'm going to quote him. All right, he says here, driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year. That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less auto fatalities. But we have decided that the benefit of driving, speed, accessibility, mobility is worth the cost of 50,000 people dying on the road. And he continues, we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. That's exactly what I said. Why? That's normal. I think it's reality. It will not happen. He continues, and I'm quoting again, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment. All right, but they do this, they mention that just to say it. You can't, okay. That's the whole purpose of that. Not to say, yeah, he was right. He was definitely right. And look, he paid with this with an imbecile who did what he did. All right, let's move to the last topic. And this comes from Sputnik. Briefing on Kirk's assassination postponed due to quote-unquote rapid developments in investigation. So, U.S. authorities on Thursday postponed a scheduled press briefing on the assassination of Papa Pop due to rapid developments in the investigation, according to a scheduling notice from the Utah Department of Public Safety obtained by Sputnik. Due to the rapid development in our investigation, we will suspend this. We will release an updated time later today. So why do you think that's the case? Do you think they found the wrong person? You know what wrong person I mean? Not that he's wrong. Of course he's wrong by committing a crime if proven that he did it. Right? But what if they found out something I mentioned about, let me see, what minute are we? 33. So let's say about 20 some minutes ago, about what if they find out the guy was an agent working for, I don't know, like the guys were working for JFK, Robert F. Kennedy, maybe Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King. And if you find out, let's say, it was something internal, do you think they will let us know? Do you think if they find this guy being, I'm just saying, with the Ukrainians, the Ukrainian government, not the Ukrainians, the ring of thieves in Ukraine in charge of the Ukrainian nation? Or what if they find out there were like some Mossad guys, or I don't know, some other guys, like MI6, or maybe, God forbid, FBI, CIA, or the military-industrial complex? What do you think these guys will do? Maybe they will postpone the briefing for the rapid developments in the investigation. All right, I will let you know as soon as I find something. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.